Good afternoon, Woven Photography Group. My name's Lee Milner, one of the admin guys for the group. This afternoon I'm just going to be doing some tips for lockdown, so stuff you can be doing at home, pictures you can be taking at home if you've got a garden, you've got something like this, bird feeder maybe. We're going to show you how to get some nice shots just using some home stuff, some basic stuff, nothing special, nothing fancy. Just going to give you some hints and tips. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go through the stuff that we're going to use. So if you've got stuff like a tripod at home, if you've got two, even better. But you can use anything really, table, something like that, anything you like. Also you're going to obviously need your camera. Your camera's going to need to be on a tripod with a remote trigger. You can do that by the house, so you can set your camera up by your back door or just outside your back door. And then try and get some distance from your back door to your garden, so hopefully you've got a big enough garden to be able to do it. If not, try not to sit with your camera, try and sit as far away from your camera as possible. And just be quiet, just relax, be quiet, have a cup of tea or coffee or something, no movements. Try and remember that you've got to stay relatively unseen, so if you can hide yourself even better, but small movements, slow movements is the key to it. And that way you won't scare any of the birds off. They're only small birds, any slight movement, they'll think you're a predator and off they'll go. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to get hold of a tripod. I'm going to show you my equipment in a minute. I've been into the garden, I've just grabbed a few. Lucky for us, we've got a large tree at the back, which tends to have a lot of branches fall off. So I've gone around the garden, I've picked up a few little branches. I've got two tripods and a boom arm, which I'll show you, along with some bird seed and stuff like that. So we'll go through all that in just a second. Okay, welcome back. This bit I'm just going to show you the gear that I'll be using. I'll give you some ideas. First of all, if you're like me and you're lucky enough to own a studio, you might have a boom arm. Boom arm, or otherwise sometimes they're called a C-stand. I normally call them a boom arm. Tripod comes up to a joint, and this joint then gives you an arm that goes out. It makes it nice and easy for what we're about to do, but there are some other stuff you can use. I don't expect everyone to have one of these, so you might not have one. If you haven't got one, then obviously there is other stuff. You've got your tripod, so just your normal standard tripod, which is basically all the boom arm is. It's just got the joint and the arm on it. If I stand back a bit, you'll be able to see that. Okay, so you've got your normal tripod or light stand. If you haven't got one of those, you're bound to have like a little travel tripod or something like that. So something like this. And then all I've done is I've gone around the garden. I've found a few branches. I found some nice big ones because, as I said earlier, we have got a few branches because of the big tree we've got at the back of the garden. And then all else I've got is just some masking tape, a big tub of food, and some bird safe cleaner. Don't forget, obviously, you'll need to clean some of the stuff before they use it. So there we go. If I step back, you'll be able to see pretty much the stuff we're going to use today. It's fairly straightforward. There are other stuff you can use. If you haven't got any of this, you can always use a plant pot. We've got a big plant with some soil in it with nothing growing. You could always do that. You could sellotape it to another part of the tree or a bush or something like that if you need to, or a greenhouse if you wanted to, if the birds are near your greenhouse. You're just working out what is best for you. I'll take you down the garden and show you the garden. You might have to excuse the cat, he's found something in the bush. Looking at the garden, here's our bird feeder. So nothing special. I just made it out of a garden fence pole. I went and got one of the things you put in the floor, the metal posts, and I got a fence post, and all I done was I put some brackets on. The bits of wood, it's been here a couple of years, so the bits of wood aren't holding out too well. I need to refresh it. It's been here about 3 or 4 years now, I think. So yeah, just a bracket, bit of wood for a shelf. Gives them something to clean themselves in. I haven't tidied this up actually, I need to come out and sort this. A few hooks for fat holders and stuff like that. The blackbirds tend to like these. And then your normal bird feeders, again on brackets. Fat ball holders, and a nut holder. A squirrel is quite a common fella here, so he tends to join us out of this tree and come straight down onto the top of the feeder. And just at the top of the feeder, it's just a little house that I've put on the top. So this was all homemade, nothing special. It wasn't overly expensive. I think the total cost was somewhere around about £20–25. It wasn't a massive expense, but it works quite well. We don't get a massive amount of birds in our garden, but it's nice to see it. Also over here, we've got our regular little feeder. This one tends to do a lot better. This is the one that we tend to fill up a lot more. You can actually hear the birds tweeting. So we have got a robin that comes down regularly and visits. The pigeons love this one as well. But yeah, all sorts really. Quite a good thing to have. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is we're going to set up something around this bird feeder. So something around the grass area here. Now the idea of this is to get you a better shot. If you're taking photos of birds in your garden, the most likely chance is going to be you're going to do it on the feeder, because that's where they're most active. And by doing that, you're going to get a great shot, don't get me wrong, but you're obviously going to clip the feeder, or the feeder's going to be in the shot, or they're going to be on the feeder. There's a little blue tit just up in the tree there. So there we go. So this is what they do. They'll sit up in the tree, work their way down. He's just gone to the garage. Then he would come down onto this bush. He'd either come down to this bush, or he'd come down to the tree at the back of the feeder. And then from there, he will fly up to the feeder. So he'll start off at the back. Well, he'll start off up there somewhere. Okay, I just restarted the video. I didn't realise there was a 5-minute timer on the video, so I'll continue from here. But basically, blue tits, what they tend to do is they'll start off at somewhere like here, some big tree. They'll work their way down. They'll spot somewhere to go. So there's 2 places here for them to go. They'll either come down to this bush, or they'll go down to this tree at the back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and set something up in between, because once they've got into a smaller bush, they'll look and make sure it's safe. Once they see the coast is safe, they'll head over to the feeder here. So what we'll do is we'll try and put something either here in the middle, or somewhere over there, just somewhere nearest to the feeder, basically, not too far away, but high enough up that nothing can get to it. So what we'll do is we'll run through all that in just a second. I'll go and get my stuff, get set up, and then go from there. Okay, I have to apologise, guys. Running out of memory on my phone, so the videos have been a bit funny. So what I've done is I've skipped through. I've made the setups now, so I can go through them all with you. The first one being is the boom arm. What I've done is I've sellotaped or masking taped the branch to the end, so it sticks out quite far. The beauty about having a boom arm is obviously it gives you a lot of reach. You can adjust it, you can extend it, you can go out, in, whatever you like. You can also tilt it up and down, get it as high as you want or as low as you want. They're all masking tape to the end. I mean, as long as that's fairly stable, as long as it's not, it's not going to take a lot of weight, so as long as it's strong enough, it'll be fine. This one I've gone for a different route. I've gone upwards with this one. Sometimes you'll find birds like blue tits, and that will just literally fly over, hang on sideways, push off, and it's literally a pit stop to another location. So that's why I've gone for one that's going upwards. Same thing, literally just masking tape to the tripod, nothing special. And then the last one is a little tiny one, and this one's just got a little tiny branch. It's got some nice sort of moss and like some other bits, so it looks a bit more natural. So we've done the same with that. You don't have to use masking tape. Thinking about it, if you had some clamps, I've got clamps upstairs, I just didn't bring them down, don't know why I didn't. So you can always clamp them to your tripods, anything really, as long as it's held securely. The last thing you want is something to fall off. So that's the 3 setups. Okay, welcome back again, guys. Okay, I've now set them up, so I've put my one that's upright on the right hand side, and then over on the left I've done the little one which is quite close to the bird feeder, and I'm hoping that's going to be their last stop, and then they're going to fly up from there. And then over the back I've just done the larger one, and the reason for that is so that I've got various different setups. So with 3 tripods I've got 3 different landing points, so hopefully they'll pick one. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go get some bird feed, and I'm literally in all the holes. If you look on the bits of branches that I've got, there's little holes and nooks. So I'm just going to put a few little bits of seed like that just in any holes and nooks and crannies. Don't worry if they get on the floor. There's a couple there. There's a nice, don't know if you'll be able to see that on the camera, there's a nice little hole there, so see if I can put some in there. Like I said, don't worry if they hit the floor. Don't know if I can put a few on there or not. Nope, they're not going to stay. So I shall try putting a few on there. They're not going to stay either. You might have more luck with your branches. Mine aren't taking too well to the seeds, and that one's not going to take any seed whatsoever. Let's try this one. So this one's proving okay. Okay, let's grab some more. A little hoverfly. Okay, so this one, it's laying flat. As I scatter them, it is holding a few in. It's not holding many, mind. But like I said, it's probably in my sturdy hand, and the fact my branch isn't ideal for it. But you might find a better branch. Mine are quite straight. Okay, so if I take another step back for you. Okay, hopefully you'll be able to see that. So the two on the left, and the reason I went for the ones on the left there is because there's obviously a nice tree in the background, offering some distance. The key to it as well is to have some distance behind it. That will make sure that the background goes a bit blurry, so you're looking really more for the colour. So look for something that's got colour. If I had, see this bush here, if this was pink, or if I had something flowering out of it or something like that, then I might favour that a bit more, in which case I'd probably bring these ones over closer to this bush and try and encourage them that way before they head over to the bird feeder. And hopefully this will work. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit out and just take a watch. So I'm just going to clear up this stuff, and I'll do the rest of the video in just a second. You may have noticed I changed the t-shirt. I had a bit of an accident with my coffee, so I've made a fresh one. Half an hour later we're back out in the garden. I'm just going to talk you through the last bit of what I've done. So we've basically got the three setups out there. We've got 3 tripods with the sticks attached like we showed you. Okay, so now's the best bit. Now's the time you get to sit back and relax. You get to enjoy it. So get your camera, stick it on a tripod. If you've got a shutter release, even better, give you some distance. You've got to try and remember, the further away you can get, the better. So if you've got a big lens, put a big lens on, give yourself some distance. Sit around for about half an hour. See if the birds take to it. Watch them settle. Give them a chance to find somewhere, and just watch for where they land. They might have a particular spot that they like. If that's the case, then obviously focus on that. Once you've got your focus, you want to be looking at an f-stopper probably around about f8, somewhere around there. ISO 100. In this kind of light, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do that, and you're on a tripod as well. So if your camera on a tripod, ISO 100 should be well achievable. Shutter speed in this kind of light is great. It's ideal for it. If you've got a 600mm lens, just bear in mind there's a lens rule where if you're at 600mm, you need to be a shutter speed higher than 1/600th of a second to freeze motion. So if you're at 600mm, you want to be shooting at least 1/600th of a second or more. So if you can go up to 1,000, go up to 1,000 or 1,200, whatever you need to. Take a few shots, check your exposure, stuff like that. Make sure you've got it right. And once you're happy, just sit back and relax and enjoy. Make yourself a coffee, sit in your garden, and just watch and see what happens. If you've got a remote trigger, you can sit there with your trigger. You've got to bear in mind small movements, slow movements as well. The birds work in a safety way, so what I've noticed over the years is they'll sit in a big tree, and then they'll fly down to a smaller bush, and then they'll eventually make their way over to the bird feeder. Now they're obviously safe in a big tree, they know there's no predators around. If there are predators, they're highly unlikely going to get seen or get spotted. They'll work their way down to a smaller bush, and they'll assess the situation again. They'll sort of look around and see that the coast is clear. Any movements, anything like that will scare them off. They'll just automatically think it's a predator. So be careful about making movements, make them small and try and keep your distance as well. Okay. So you've got your big lens out, you're focused on the point, you're waiting for the birds to come down. How do you assess the situation, or how do you get ready or prepare yourself? If you're on a trigger, it's easy. You can just sit there and you can literally watch. What I tend to do is I normally watch for a point where they're flying across. So you set your camera up for burst mode. So when you hold the shutter release, it will take a few pictures in succession. And then what I normally do is I sort of wait until they're halfway between the tree and the branch, or the bush and the branch, and then I'll press the button and take a series of about 5 to 10 shots. Now within that 5 to 10 shots, there's normally enough time for them to land. Sometimes it's enough time for them to fly off as well, depending on your timing. It all comes down to practice. So practice. But in this kind of weather there should be loads, and you should have plenty of chances to practice. Doesn't have to be twigs like we've used. There are various other setups you can do. You could use a log if you've got a nice big log and it's got a flat top to it. Stand that up in the garden, put some seeds on the top, they'll love it. Flat surfaces are fine. Robins absolutely love flat surfaces. That's why you always see them on a fence and stuff like that. So yeah, a few seeds on the top, it'll look lovely and natural, it'll be great. Bird baths are another one. You can always put your bird bath close to the feeder and hope that they jump from one to the other. And just to prove a point, 2 little tiny birds are just landing in the big tree at the end of the garden. So now I know they're going to be looking to move down to the bush, and hopefully make their way over to the feeders. Okay, if you don't have a long lens, it doesn't mean to say you can't do this. If you've got a shutter release, that'll give you some distance between the cameras. So put the camera as close as you can to it. Cover it up with something. Maybe just put some branches around it, put it near a bush or even in a bush if you can. And then sit as far back as possible with your remote shutter. If you've only got a wide lens, it's probably not going to lean too well. So obviously, depending on what camera you've got, you could still do it, but you'd have to crop in. Just as I'm talking to you, there's a blackbird that's just flown across the lawn and landed on the fence. So I'm going to sit here now and I'm going to watch and see if he makes his way over. I'd love to see what you take. If you've got any questions, please ask. I'm here to help. These videos are going to be designed for lockdown, for everyone being at home, indoors, so they're going to be in the garden. There's going to be more to come. I will do some other stuff. I've got some macro stuff I want to do as well, so I'll talk you through that and we'll do another video for that. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like I say, any questions, please ask. Or join us over at Worthing Photography Group. It's open to everyone in West Sussex or the local area. And stay safe. Yeah, stay indoors, stay safe. I wish you all well. Come and join in our group, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.